y'all had a nice break. I know we did. Welcome back to the Guardian Project podcast Commander stream. I am your host, Mike.
And I'm Andrew Timothy.
And we are the Guardian Project podcast. We record Commander gameplay weekly, and you can find it over on our YouTube channel. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe. And we also release new podcast videos and new podcast episodes every Wednesday. So wherever you listen to podcasts, or if you are on YouTube, we also upload on YouTube. You can check all of those out. Tonight, we are playing some really cool new Capenna Commander decks, and we are joined by two amazing guests. Andy Bentley, welcome back to the stream.
Hi, yeah. Well, I guess I should tell people who I am, right?
You should tell people who you are and where they can find you and what you do.
Cool. I am also Andrew Timothy.
Are you really?
Yes.
Oh, I think we had this conversation.
We have had this conversation.
Yeah, it's difficult when trying to figure out which one of us you want to swing at, because you both go by Andy, but we're Andrew Timothy's.
But yes, I typically go by Andy. I am the host of the Commander's Forge podcast. This is my ugly mug here and up in this corner. I made the podcast at the start of the pandemic, so I had something to talk to other than just the shadows in my room. It got real dark for a while, folks.
That's just how shadows are. I mean, you can't.
Indeed.
It's like the shadow people from Ghost. Those things were scary when I was a kid.
But yeah, that's me. I'm just a nerd on the internet.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. And Colin, aka Colin O'Clock, thank you very much for joining us. Why don't you tell everyone about yourself and where they can find you and what it is that you do?
Sure. I'm Colin at Colin O'Clock on Twitter, and I do Commander streams on Wednesdays, 8:30 Central. Very casual. Usually, these decks are probably a little more higher power than I usually play, and I make memes on the internet, and that's my contribution to this wonderful community.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. And as I said, we are playing some Streets of New Capenna Commanders. The only repeat commander from the last game, if you stuck around, will be mine. So we are going to go around the table here, and we're going to explain it. We're going to do it in turn order. We rolled dice, and Andy Bentley, you're going to be going first, so why don't you go off and explain who you are playing in this first game?
Okay, so I have to give you a short story first.
Do it up.
Okay.
I thought this card was horrible. And then I had one in my pre-release along with two Agonies, and I fell in love.
I had one in my pre-release. I think Mr. Orfeo is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So his real name is Mr. Orfeo the Boulder. I will never call him that. His name is Mr. Oreo. The Boulder feels conflicted about fighting a small blind girl. And yes, every time I cast it, that is how I'm going to say it.
Awesome.
But for the most part, it's an Eldrazi deck. I'm not gonna lie, it's degenerate.
Oh, doubling the power of Eldrazi. Nice.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm playing the Beamtown Bullies this game, so the Beamtown Bullies says Vigilance Haste. You can tap it and target opponent whose turn it is, puts a creature that is non-legendary from your graveyard onto the battlefield under their control. It gains haste and you goad it, so they're going to have to swing with it. I'm going to give people things that are probably less than desirable to get on their board. I do have Inverter of Truth and Leveler.
He's doing the thing.
I'm doing the thing.
Fine.
So it has to get into the graveyard, but I also have other fun cards like Tempting Worm, and I think it's Hunting Wumpus, and that'll help other people that didn't get the creature. Unfortunately, not the person who gets it. So I'm excited to play this. I actually have. I think I tweeted online just a couple days ago. This is the first time that I've actually enjoyed playing a Jund deck. I realized Corvold wasn't really for me. I tried Lord Windgrace. This one seems fun, but it's very niche, and it either does its thing or it doesn't do its thing. So that's what I'm playing tonight. Colin, what are you playing?
Okay, I'm playing the Return of Cephalid Advisor, Queza, the Augur of Agonies. And I've been very drawn to Esper in this set already. And Coyle said he was building Raffine, and I was like, this is completely different. There's cards that you just don't want in each of these, which I think is really cool. There's some overlap, and I originally built it as an all-in like mirror gallery, mirror box, copy Queza, make a whole bunch of Quezas and do that
Nice.
thing. But there's I got rid of that. There's maybe like one effect I can do that with, but no longer. I think I'm just going to try to target one person and
Chat's asking,
No.
cephalid tribal? Or do you have other
No,
cephalids in the
it's-
deck? Do you
It
know?
is no. The deck's name is it's a draw. It's all about drawing cards. It's every card in my collection that said draw
I
more
love that.
than as many cards as possible. So there's maybe one combo in the deck
Okay.
Okay.
where I could potentially draw my deck, but I think you would see it coming.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is it saw it coming?
Ah.
Ah!
Yeah, but no big combos. Just I am the thing I loved about building this deck is I'm someone who is guilty of not putting enough card draw in their decks. So when it's just like the thing you want to do, it doesn't feel bad to just put card draw in the deck, and I had a lot of fun building it. So
I'm feeling called out here.
I think I put too much card draw in some of my decks and but I'm here for it. You know, if I can just draw my deck, we talked about it on the show of commanders that we would build. Turns out Beamtown Bullies was not on my list. Queza was, and then I didn't build Queza. So I'm glad you have it so I can see how it works.
yeah, we'll see if it works.
No, I love the fact that Raffine has drawing cards on its face. I don't have to build around drawing cards. Raffine's just going to do it for me.
Right.
So I'm running back Raffine for this game. I'm going to be swinging with evasive creatures to put +1/+1 counters on my creatures. Last time I played it was all Raffine. Maybe this next time I'll put it on some other creatures. We'll see what happens, and hopefully we do some fun stuff.
Nice.
All right.
Before we continue, though, if you want to check out the deck lists, we will post them in the show notes below if you're watching this on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you like our content, and follow us. We did resolve mulligans, and Andy Bentley, I believe you are going first. Do you want to kick us off?
I don't know. My legs are real sore after work today. But sure.
Good luck, everybody.
I'm going to play a fancy forest and then pass.
I will draw for turn. And I am going to play an exotic orchard, and I'll pass.
Cool. Draw for turn. Ooh. I just picked up one of my spicy pulls foil full art Raffine's tower. I'm gonna play that tapped and yeah.
All right.
Spicy just because it's.
Did you open a collector's booster box, or is that from a set booster?
I did.
Oh, nice.
That was one of the cards in there.
I will play a Marsh Flats. I am going to take 1 damage, and I'm going to go find my own tri-land here, but not a very pretty one, just a normal one, and pass the turn.
And throw. Oh, that's interesting. I don't hate that. I'm going to play a forest and pass. I don't know if you know this about Eldrazi deck. They tend to go a little slow.
Oh, link deleted. I tried to drop my Agnes.
Oh, we did
That's
change
okay.
it. We can
that's
make
good.
a change.
No, I think that's good. Safe. We'll put it on the YouTube. I'll post it online.
Well, if we're hosting or if we're moderating, we can probably post the link. So if you shoot it to us over the Discord, we can.
It's funny because it didn't even present it to me as a moderator.
That's just
It's auto delete. Yeah.
Weird. Okay. Well, I'm going to tap for 2, and I'm going to play Mesmeric Orb. So whenever a permanent becomes untapped, each player mills that many cards.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Mill me, daddy.
I think all of us want everybody
That's
like
fantastic.
And I pass. I need to
Okay,
get
what
my
is-
creatures
hold
in
on,
my
is this-
graveyard.
Sorry, cast a spell or draw cards. What does this trigger on?
So this is whenever you untap any permanent. So you mill before you
All
draw.
right, I untapped my Raffine's tower. I mill a cranial archive to shuffle my graveyard. Draw for turn. You know what?
I will post my Ginny Fey deck, though.
I am
Look at me do
going
that. You try to post a link, and then I'll just go and post mine.
Yeah.
You can't post yours.
Morphic Pool, and I will pass the turn. My links are in Discord. I think I dropped both links earlier. They're the same links. Yeah.
So I'm gonna untap
In
my
that
Raffine.
Discord chat.
Untap
My
my Raffine's
links
Tower and mill a deserted
don't
beach.
exist yet because I've been busy.
And what'd you mill, Mike?
I milled a deserted beach.
Okay.
I will play an exotic orchard as my land for turn, which taps for any of my colors, which is nice. And I'll tap 2 for a Talisman of Dominance, and I will pass.
With dominance.
Pass with dominance.
Passing with dominance.
I'm going to.
This is the first time
I
I've
am
seen
out.
an entire pod be happy about a Mesmeric Orb, like
I
not
love
upset.
That's usually 'cause
Normally
you're on the
someone's
other-
like, I need
that's
that
'cause-
gone.
Yeah, you're on the other side of this miracle orb, Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You're not
get
locked
to,
in here with
Here,
us. We're
like-
locked in.
I get to see more of my deck, and then I
Yeah.
have, I don't know, like 4 cards in there that just say, hey, shuffle everything back in.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mine is gone.
3 mana, and I should probably do something.
Yes.
Alright, I'm gonna tap 3, and I'm gonna play a Rhythm of the Wild.
Oh yes.
It's the rhythm of wild.
And then I'm done. I'm gonna pass.
Okay, untap. I'm gonna mill 2. I'm gonna mill a Faithless Looting and a Thrill of Possibility.
Okay.
Those are also both really good card draw.
Draw for turn.
At least Faithless Looting's still castable.
Yeah, true.
I'm gonna play a Swamp. And then I will pass for the turn.
Okay, at the end of your turn, I'm gonna tap 1 for blue, cycle Lonely Sandbar, draw a card. I'm gonna tap this for nothing, and then untap 2, so I'll mill 2. No mana burn, a Prismatic Vista, and a Shell Dock Isle.
I hate
Alright.
that we're milling and these
Draw for turn.
fine folks have what is it? What's that stupid fish's name again?
Oh, Thassa's Oracle.
Thassa's
Yeah.
Oracle.
Yes. I'm like,
Yeah,
bring it to me, baby.
That's
I'm gonna tap all of my stuff. All right. So I think I will just play. There's no tap. This is amazing because I've switched out lands. Like I usually play with all tap lands, and now all my lands come in untapped. I'm like, what do I do with that? I'll play a Plains, and I'm going to tap 2 for a Boots.
Nice.
This is the launch weekend like foily promo. I got that from my LGS.
Nice.
Yeah, cool. Anyway, that's it though.
All right. I'll untap 2. I'm not going to tap my Talisman before. I think 2,
Oh, okay,
two is
alright.
enough. I'm going to mill a Malakir Rebirth and a Court of Cunning.
Court of Cunning.
Yes, that's the mill one.
That's the mill one.
It's the middle one.
Oh my goodness.
I'll play a Sea of Clouds as my land for turn. And I will tap 3 and cast my commander, Raffine.
Heyo.
And pass the turn.
That's
I
a
will untap 3 and mill Emrakul the Promised End,
Mhm.
Tuya
No.
Bearclaw, and Grand Warlord Rada.
And Emrakul's not a reshuffle?
Nope, that's the
This is
That's the
new
band
Merkle.
one
Band
that does that.
Emrakul, yeah.
I
I don't
love.
actually know how much I care about those being in the graveyard.
Has anyone doubled down on the theory? Because there was a theory that the Wanderer was Emrakul. Has anyone double down on that theory and say the Wandering Emperor is still Emrakul? Because that would be awesome.
I'm gonna play a Wooded Foothills. I will pay the 1 life and go get something that's going to come in untapped. Do I know what it's going to be yet? Absolutely not.
Speaking of the Wanderer, the meme I've most recently created is my daughter who had a hat covering her eyes and she was making bubbles, and I made the Bubble Wanderer.
I did see
That's-
that. and That
yeah,
was
that's-
very good.
Pinned to my Twitter if you're interested.
Apparently not. So it's just going to be a mountain. And I'll shuffle up in a second, but I'm going to tap 4 and I'm going to play a From Beyond.
Yes. What?
After that, I'm done.
I'm
I'm going to
gonna
make little
pay-
boys that I can sack
Yeah.
for colorless mana.
Okay.
I'm just gonna tap for 3.
Okay.
Untap. Mill 3 cards.
Yeah.
Ignoble Hierarch, Buried Alive, and Jagged Poppet. Jagged Poppet says whenever it's dealt damage, discard that many cards. And Hellbent, whenever it deals combat damage to a player, if you have no cards in hand, that player discards equal to the damage.
Nice.
And then I will draw for turn. I'm going to play a Forest. And I will pay 4 for the Beamtown Bullies.
Oh, and
Not
it
the
tastes-
Beamtown Bullies.
Oh, I'm going to move to combat. I'm going to swing at Andy Bentley for...
I have a 1-4 over here. If that's
Yeah,
what
I'm
you
going to swing at Mike for 4.
I'll take 4. I ain't sacrificing.
Oh, and it has
anything.
vigilance.
It does.
Wow.
After that, I pass.
Oh, and you can do it at instant speed.
I can do it whenever I want to do it.
Well, you have to do
Oh,
it during that
nice.
player's turn, right?
It has to. The person you
Oh.
give it to is during that player's
This
turn.
was my like secret tech, which I think Mike stole, which was I wanted to be the person in between Andy Fleury's turn in this because it's either coming at me or coming at Andy.
Sorry, you should have joined the Discord call 30 minutes early.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay. I'm gonna tap Raffine's Tower and then untap, so I'm milling 3. Teferi's Puzzle Box, a Reanimate, and an Island.
Okay.
All right, draw for turn. Interesting. Interesting times we have here. I'm going to play a Clearwater Pathway, but on the black side, Murkwater Pathway. And I'm going to. I just got a kiss blown at me. And I'm feeling.
Aw.
My cheeks just got red. That feels good. To cast the commander or not? I'm not for now. I'm going to tap 2 blue and 2 others for an Archmage Emeritus.
Oh,
Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card. Pass turn.
yeah. That's a good card. I saw people talk about, like, how come this card isn't more expensive? Well, if you don't know, you can get the promo version by buying the bundle from Strixhaven.
Yeah.
Just
That's why
wait.
it's not
Just
expensive.
wait. So that card should be more expensive.
It should be. It should be. Eventually.
It's just great.
There's too many
Just
copies
great.
out there right now for it to go up.
I'm not normally a spell slinger, so I am sad to have lost the Teferi's Puzzle Box. That was.
Oh,
This is
I was also sad
the-
to see
you
the
know
puzzle
what?
box.
I
go.
didn't-
secret layer drop.
I didn't mill my cards. Okay. Morphic Pool, Psychic
Oh.
Corrosion, and Watery Grave.
Yes, perfect.
That Psychic Corrosion would have been more mill for everybody. It would have been great.
It would have been
know.
great.
It
Alright.
was great. Did anyone watch Cake Boss?
Oh yeah.
I used to.
That's
Is
a
that
time
still
ago,
on?
No, but that's all I remember is he always repeated, and it was great every 5 seconds. It was.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway,
All right. I'm going to play a Glacial Fortress as my land for turn instead of that Morphic Pool that I thought was in my hand. But
Sorry.
it wasn't. And then I am going to tap for,
But it wasn't.
for 4 mana. I am going to cast a Teferi's Ageless Insight. Says if I would draw a card, except the first one you draw on each of your draw steps, draw 2 cards instead.
that's what I need in this deck. Oh, I probably have one sitting around somewhere and bad now.
I
Yeah,
would
that's
like
really good.
to move to combat.
Yes.
I will swing Raffine at. You know, I feel like I hit Colin a lot last game, but you are the only one at 40 life right now. So Colin,
Oh.
I'm gonna Raffine come at you. The Connive 1 trigger will.
Oh, draws you 2 cards instead.
Yeah, so I'll draw
And
2.
you discard 1. Nice.
That's quality
You like
tech
that?
right there. Yes, I do. Very much.
I am going to. I gotta figure out what to discard though. There's so many good cards in my hand. Even having to discard only 1 card, it's hard. Maybe we don't need more mill. So let's discard Mind Crank.
Oh.
Oh, shoot. I would have been all for it.
I know.
Oh.
I'll pass the turn after. I have Sir Conrad in here too, and that's the main reason Mindcrank is in here.
Untap 4. I'm going to mill Eternal Witness, Mrs. Pilgrimage, Kenra Charioteer, and another non-shuffle Drazi, Kozilek the Great Distortion.
Oh no.
Wow. Seems
Then I
good.
will drop a turn. Hey, that's a fun card. All right, I also get my Super Tentacly Boy.
Oh,
Yes.
for your
Ion.
From Beyond.
I really thought you were talking about like a free Emrakul somehow, and I was like, how did I miss
You
that?
didn't know, Mike. That's how it works. You just get a free Emrakul.
I said free tentacly boy, and I'm like, Emrakul's the only tentacly boy I know.
Right. Decisions. So
Magic Online is cardboard NFTs before NFTs were even a thing.
Yeah,
Sure.
for sure.
I'm gonna tap 1. I'm gonna cast an Ancient Stirring.
Oh my gosh, you about to play Tron?
No.
I'm gonna reveal.
I mean, that's not true.
or
I have
Rugen
Tron in here.
or-
Well, no, because I can either get a land with it or an Eldrazi,
Well, it's a land or it's a colorless card, right?
a colorless card. So
Yeah,
it can
So
either be a
void
land,
card.
a devoid card, or it can be this Kozilek Butcher of Truth.
That's a good.
But
one.
it's not
that
gonna
one.
be.
That's a good one.
It's gonna be a swamp.
It's
Yeah.
also pretty good.
Swamp's great.
I haven't.
Oh, because you
played
need a swamp.
land
So you can
yet.
play Mr. Orfeo.
That is true.
It's
I
just
will
a thinking boulder.
play
It's not just a boulder.
swamp.
It's a rock.
I forgot to put my +1/+1 counter on Raffine.
No, because then I'm gonna tap
Yes.
for sacking my Scion. For
Oh
fifth,
yeah, and you did attack me with
I did,
Raffine,
for
so
2.
I didn't. think of that.
and I'm gonna kick a Grow from the Ashes,
Nice.
All right.
which is gonna get me Wastes and a Wastes.
Nice.
What more could you ask for?
All right.
Are you kicking spells already?
No.
Come on, like. Ooh.
Do they come in tapped?
No.
Oh.
Not for Grow from the Ashes is quality.
Yeah, it's real good.
Yeah.
3 for 1, 5 for 2, coming untapped. That's what makes that one really good in the late game.
Yeah.
When you just have 5 mana randomly sitting around, you're like, it rebuys 2 mana of it. Why not?
I love that in budget ramp decks, budget landfall decks, ETB landfall decks.
Okay. And then I will
So-
pass my turn.
I do need you to go to combat because I am going to activate the Beamtown Bullies. I'm going to
Oh,
give you Ignoble
combat.
Hierarch.
What?
I just want the Beamtown Bullies tapped.
Oh, and you have no other legendary. What?
Well, it's non-legendary, but no one's going to block Jagged Poppet, so it's not a good time to play this
Oh,
out.
okay.
So, like,
So
you have to swing with a 0/1 that has Exalted.
I'm sorry.
No,
It's a
you don't have to.
1/2.
You could just tap. You could tap it for mana instead.
You could.
I'm
Yeah, you
gonna make.
could.
I'm Rhythm of the Wilds is gonna put a +1/+1 counter on it, and then I will swing.
So then it'll 2 damage.
It'll be 2 damage at Mr. Coil.
I'm gonna take 2.
Makes
I
sense.
got a
And
3.
then this gets exiled at
And then it
the
goes away.
Okay.
next.
First bullies trigger not that bad.
We'll see if the next one's bad.
Yeah, we'll see what gets milled this turn.
All right,
All
I
right.
am done.
Untap. I'm gonna mill 5. I'm gonna mill Thawing Glaciers, Beseiju, Forest, Riveteer's Outlook, and Command Tower.
Nice.
So I'm glad those are gone. I guess that was 5 lands in a
Great.
row,
Yeah.
folks. That's not great. Draw for turn.
At least one of the lands would have reshuffled your deck, but it was the third one.
I'm gonna play Takanuma, Abandoned Mire.
There you go.
And
Mhm.
I'm gonna pay 2 for an unmarked grave.
Not that you really
Nice.
want to return anything from your graveyard to your hand. Like, what possibly in your graveyard do you want getting? Do you want to get back?
So I'm gonna
The
search for a
Entomb.
non-legendary creature, and I'm gonna throw it into my graveyard.
It's a creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. Like, I don't think Andy Fleury wants any of those in his hand.
Is it a May trigger though?
No, for the Takanuma. Like, you're just... I don't think you're
Oh yeah, mill
ever...
3 and then return a creature or planeswalker from
Channel.
your graveyard to your hand. In this deck, there might be some, like an Eternal Witness would be nice to get back.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Seedborn,
not only
I
that,
think Seedborn Muse is in there.
but even if you
think
don't have anything good, you're still milling 3 cards into your graveyard.
That's true. That's
Right.
true.
And if you're doing it at instant speed, then you can activate the Beamtown Bullies to
Ooh.
pull it out of
To
your graveyard
Get
before
something else.
putting
yeah,
it back to your hand.
That's true. Y'all are smart. I'm like,
I'm
why
actually
would you
very
put
dumb.
that card in your deck?
I make dumb decisions all the time.
I'm just trying to figure out, like, aside from... I didn't look very hard at Andy Fleury's list, but aside from, like, yeah, Eternal Witness and, like, Seedborn Muse...
Oh, what ones do I actually want to physically play myself? Pretty much none.
None, which means you have no blockers this whole game, except for the Beamtown Bullies.
I'm
like,
gonna put Ebonblade Reaper in my graveyard. So this is a creature. It's a 1/1, and
There
it
you
says
go.
when it attacks, you lose half your life rounded up, and when it deals combat damage to a player, that player loses half their life rounded up.
Yes. Normally negated by the morph mechanic on it.
So you attack with it, you lose half your life, and the person that gets dealt damage loses half their life?
Correct.
Yeah. This is in my Kadena deck. Except you attack with it while it's turned upside down, so you don't get the trigger.
Right.
I am going to move to combat. And Mike, I'm going to swing at you for 4 with the Beamtown Bullies.
I'll take another 4. 8 commander damage.
Yeah, I figure like maybe they get in for commander damage. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Apparently.
makes sense. They have vigilance, so why not?
After that, I passed my turn.
Okay, I'm gonna untap 4, which means I'm gonna mill 4, and I gotta put a counter on my deck to make sure I remember this every time. I have a Body of Knowledge, a Thought Sponge, Obscura Storefront, and a Windfall.
Nice.
I wouldn't have minded a windfall.
Draw for turn. Yeah, that would have been cool.
I thought about putting Dragon Mage in the graveyard because then it's a Wheel of Fortune when someone swings with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I decided not to because that Teferi's Ageless Insight is too much
Oh,
value.
that would have been great.
Darkwater Catacombs for land, and I'm gonna pay... I should probably tap right so that I'm not cheating. The Darkwater Catacombs has to go into this for Queza, Augur of Agonies, and then I will tap 1 to equip Queza with the boots.
With the fur?
Boots with the fur.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
fine.
crowd is looking
Yeah,
at
just
her.
protect a little bit. I don't think I'm getting in there with any of these. What's the attackers on the...
I have
What's
no
the
blockers.
blockers?
I have 0.
I also have no blockers.
I have
Alright.
a 4/4 blocker.
I'm probably not blocking your 4/4. So, Mr. Big Ben's Andy will send all of this at you for 5 total, 3 commander damage.
I take my beats.
Yes, and then I will pass.
All right. And I will untap.
And mill 5.
I will mill 3, 4, 5. Midnight Pathlighter.
Uh-oh.
Lear, Disciple of the Drowned. Vault of Champions. Sudden Spoiling. And Kibira Takedown.
Well,
All right.
And then I will draw for turn. I'll play a Reflecting Pool as my land for turn. I am going to pay 3 blue anything, and I am going to wipe away the Beamtown Bullies.
oh, wiped away.
Yeah. Okay. So they're in my hand.
Yes.
You don't want to activate it and respond?
can't.
You
Right?
can't split second, so you can't.
Oh,
Split
split
Wow.
second.
That's quality.
I'll move to combat.
In response,
Oh,
I'm
sure.
going to Chaos Warp the Teferi's Ageless Insight.
Oh,
Okay.
that's
Well,
a
I
pretty
guess
chaos.
yeah, when I go to combat, you'll do that.
Yeah, when you go.
Yeah, I'll do it before you go to combat.
Sure. Okay. I'll shuffle. Come on, Adeline.
That would be a good one.
I The bad part is like even 10 of my lands are like instants or sorceries because they're MBFCs or whatever.
That's true.
So they'll probably just stay on top no matter what I get. Okay, shuffled up. We will reveal.
All right.
It is a Stormscape Familiar. So it's a flying 1/1 that says white spells and black spells I play cost 1 less to play.
Nice.
Dig it.
Yeah, I like that card.
I've never seen it before, and I love it.
All right. I will declare Raffine as an attacker at Andy Flory.
Yes.
I'll connive 1 onto Raffine. I'll draw 1, discard 1.
Draw one like a peon.
Yeah, no kidding.
So it's gonna be it's gonna ultimately be 3.
It is going to, well, unless I discard a land, but I'm looking.
Oh, I guess that's fair. If you discard a land, that's fair.
I'm looking. I don't think I'm.
I forgot that's how connive works.
Yeah, I'm gonna discard. Well, that would be kind of a cool card to discard too. Let's do that. Let's put a target in my graveyard. I'm gonna discard a Consecrated Sphinx.
Oh,
Ooh.
all right, I'll take 3.
All right, so white spells and black spells cost 1 less to cast.
I have an Alila deck that would very much like that bird.
I will do 3 mana, and I will cast a Dread Return, targeting Consecrated Sphinx.
Yeah.
Just making sure I don't want like Leer or something like
Oh,
that.
I was like, it's on top. What do you do?
I'm making sure. So I'll grab this Consecrated Sphinx, and then that will be the end of my turn.
I also do not have a Consecrated Sphinx in this deck because I couldn't find it. It's in
At the
some
end of your
other
turn,
deck.
I'm gonna float 2 colorless mana for no reason.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
No reason at all.
Yeah, no reason at all.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean, if
gonna
Andy
untap-
mills his, he just gets his whole graveyard back, so he doesn't care.
7. I will mill an Eldrazi Temple, Cultivate, Dawnglade Regent, Forest, Shuffle Ulamog, and Rook Thar. It'll all go back inside.
All right,
So
you got your.
technically you do mill them one at a time, but I like the fast
Oh.
forward.
Yeah, whatever.
So then I would end
Whatever.
with
With one.
Ruik Thar in my grave.
Well, you would end with whatever you shuffled, and then you would mill 1. Because you would shuffle.
Oh, right.
Ulamog one, yeah. and
Screw
then-
it, we'll do that.
Okay.
Shuffle and then mill, right? Yeah.
This is for you, YouTube, because we know you
That
would have
was
said
great.
something in the comments.
Nice commentary there.
Sure.
It wouldn't have mattered either way,
Probably not, unless I want to
except
reanimate that Rurik
the
Thar.
mill. Yeah.
All right, so then my last mill is a Void Winnower.
Oh, I'm glad that's gone.
And then
For
I will
now.
draw for turn. Which means Coil can draw 2 cards.
I will draw 2. I will choose 2.
That seems good.
Do I do the funny thing? I think I just
Yes.
do the funny thing, right?
Funny things are always welcome.
I'm gonna tap 6. I'm gonna play a Conduit of Ruin.
Oh, yeah.
So on cast, I'm gonna search my library for a colorless card with converted mana cost 7 or greater and put it on top. You're never gonna guess what I'm gonna put on top.
Ulamog?
Yeah.
Who doesn't love completely randomizing their deck every turn?
That's pretty great. Who could complain?
So that's on top, and we know it. And I have a total of 2 mana left.
What did you do with the? Did you give it haste or a counter?
I'm gonna give it.
Yeah. Forgot about that. Your token
Make
gets
him
that too, right?
will. No, only
Non-token.
non-token.
Oh.
I do believe after that I will pass my turn.
All right, I'm gonna mill 5. Tortured Existence, a swamp, Zeotora's Proving Grounds, Nature's Lore.
There you go.
Draw for turn. Play Fabled Passage.
I'm gonna draw 2 with you.
Yes. I'm going to go get myself a mountain. And then I will pay 4 for the Beamtown Bullies.
Yes.
Red, green, black, black. Then I'll move to combat, and Colin, I'll swing at you for 4.
Yeah, take him 4.
And then I will pass my turn.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, untap. I'm untapping 7, so I will mill 7. Induced Amnesia, Sanguine Spy, Helm of the Host. That's my 1 copy effect.
Oh, copy.
1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5 Kraken, 6 is a Temple of Deceit, 7 is a Skull Clamp. Now I'm wishing I did have the Dakon, because I think you can get artifacts back from the graveyard. Untap, upkeep, draw.
I'll draw 2.
Okay. Oh, and when I draw a card, target opponent loses 1 life and I gain 1 life. Andy Flurry,
I will lose 1.
I will gain 1. Boop. All right. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I don't know.
Wheel us. Wheel.
I can, but it's not this turn. It's very dependent. It is very dependent.
We could just have Coil draw out of his deck.
Hey, Consecrated Sphinx is a May trigger. I'm going to draw as many as I want.
That's true. I think wheeling might be important. But I'm just going to pass the turn.
Okay, I'm going to untap 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 permanents. So mill 7. Mill a Command Tower, a Shadow of the Grave, Bag of Holding, Baying Veil, Court of Ambition, a Dimir Signet, and a Felwar Stone.
So during your upkeep, I
Yes.
will activate the Beamtown Bullies.
Hey, you got it.
Yeah, I mean, Coil said he puts a lot of split second cards in this deck, so I figure.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
have any more white boys, but yeah, definitely.
I mean, but if there's something else I can't deal with.
Mhm, mhm.
So, I am going to give you the what do I want to give you? I'll give you the Ebon Blade Reaper.
Oh,
Ebon Blade Reaper.
It's a 1/1.
Okie doke.
It's a 1/1, and that's the one where he loses half his life.
Yes.
And if it deals damage to somebody, they lose half their life.
Gotcha.
All right, then I will draw for turn.
I figure if Coil has removal and he wants to remove that, that keeps him from removing something else on my board.
Very true. I just figured this was coming to my board on my
It
turn
wasn't
last time.
actually. It was
Oh.
going to go to Andy's because Colin didn't have any blockers, but it got
Okay.
removed.
I gotcha.
yeah.
I was
I was
scared.
like, oh no. It's all good. It's all good.
Because I guess if Colin didn't have blockers, I could have swung at him too. But then I would have get extra Raffine. So
Right, but
yeah.
then because I wanted to try to swing at you with just Beamtown Bullies was my thought, but Colin was tapped out, so I figured if I gave it to Andy, Colin would have taken half, and so would Andy.
Right. No, you're right.
It's a good thing I didn't tap out.
Okay, I am going to play this Snow-Covered Plains as my land for turn. And then I will move to combat. I will swing Raffine at Andy Flory.
Ease.
I will swing the Ebon Blade Reaper at Andy Bentley. And then the Stormscape Familiar at Colin. And the Consecrated Sphinx at Andy Flory.
Now, the Reaper doesn't have any evasion, does it?
Nope.
Nope.
It's half your life rounded up, Mike.
Rounded up. So I take that much damage.
You
Lose that much
lose that much life.
All right, so I'll lose 15. I'll go down to 14 life on attack trigger. And then I have this Raffine trigger, which will target Raffine itself to draw 4 and discard 4. I will discard 1, 2. Well, we can keep that one. 2, 3, and 4. We will discard a Lingering Souls, McKinney Stampede, Hagra Mauling, and a Library of Lang. So we'll put 4 more +1/+1 counters on this, getting up to 6 +1/+1 counters.
Okay.
So,
Like freeze?
No.
Oh, okay, we see you.
okay.
Yeah. It just got a little choppy there for a second.
Yeah. So Andy Flory, you have 7 power Commander and 4 power Consecrated Sphinx coming at you. Stormscape Familiar is coming at Colin, and then the 1/1 Ebonblade Reaper is coming at you, Andy Bentley.
I do believe I'm going to block with my 6/6.
And I am wand in the air.
Yes.
I have a question. How does the Beamtown Bullies read? If it dies from blocks, does it go back to your bin?
It says at
Exile
the
it.
beginning of your next end step, exile it, but if it dies, it will go to my graveyard.
Yes.
Oh. Shoot.
All right, I like that.
Yeah. Main phase 2.
Did you block it, Andy?
I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's back in
Alright.
your yard. I just want to look in my graveyard. and see if
That's
there's
pretty
anything
cool.
here. I am going to main phase 2 tap 7.
Ooh.
And cast Toxerol the Corrosive.
Oh no.
That's really bad.
Why have you done this?
It's a good card. Oh, actually, I only have to tap 6 for that because I have a Stormscape Familiar, so I'll untap my Raffine's Tower.
Hold on. What does Toxerol do?
At the beginning of each end step, put a slime counter on each creature I don't control. Creatures I don't control get -1/-1 for each slime counter on them. And whenever a creature I don't control with a slime counter on it dies, create a 1/1 black slug creature token. I can pay a black and a blue to sacrifice a slug to draw a card.
If you could get rid of that, that's real bad, Colin.
So yeah, I guess
Not
I
great
can't,
for anybody.
I can't get rid of it until the end step. So slug is gonna get made
Okay.
no matter what, right?
Well,
I can't
slugs
get
only
rid of
get
it
made
till the end
so if you kill it before the counters get put on everything, then they just get slime counters that don't do anything.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is the end step trigger is gonna happen no matter what.
But if you
Because
kill it with the
there's
end step-
nothing.
but if
Well, you
kill
can do it
with the
before he
trigger-
goes to
there's-
his end step.
if you
There's
kill it with
nothing
the
for me to respond to.
If you kill it with the trigger on the stack, then the trigger will still go off and everything will get slime counters, but nothing's going to get -1/-1 anymore. They just have
Well, not only
slime
that,
counters
but
on
like
them.
you can respond to him moving to his end step.
Phases changing will give you priority.
Well,
Yeah.
but the next
But it will-
phase change
but-
is going to end step, so the trigger
Yeah.
does go on the stack.
So the trigger will still happen.
Oh, okay.
But
Well, I
again-
guess then
but-
they get slime counters and they don't get -1/-1.
Yeah, they don't
like,
die to the slime
your
counters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
will-
I'm
gonna-
guessing it's coming back.
I'm going to move to my end step.
Okay, I will. With that trigger on the stack, I'm going to Orzhov.
Is this a closing statement?
This is a Void Rend.
Oh,
Destroy
nope.
target non-land permanent and it can't be countered. I have a trigger and a trigger. I'm going to draw a card.
I'll draw 2.
And whenever I draw a card, Mr. Big Benz will have you lose a life and I'll gain a life. For now, the dominant life position.
Yep.
Alright. So then Toxerol will get destroyed. All of my opponent's creatures get a slime counter still.
Yes, they will have a slime counter.
Slime counter.
And I will go to my discard now. I don't need that anymore. I'm keeping that one. Keeping.
Oh, you didn't get the memo, Andy?
Yeah, so chat, who are we rooting for? And Andy responded, me.
Me. I like that.
I like that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6,
Well,
7.
Koya's figuring that out. I'm gonna add a colorless banner for no apparent reason.
I'm discarding Seer Conrad, Meadowmai the Ageless, Shadrick Silver Quill, and a Bitter Blossom.
Okay.
Bitter Blossom. You have no blockers right now, Mike?
Nope, not after my creature got destroyed.
Hot.
Yeah,
Right.
and at 14 life.
I know.
You're the
So I'm gonna
second lowest after
mill
me.
7.
I know.
The first mill is gonna hit the Ulamog and shuffle.
That's
And
really funny.
then we will mill 6 more after that.
I hope like 2 or 3 of them are still that same Ulamog.
Morag, Mountain,
Ooh.
Command Tower, Pathrazor of Ulamog, Blasphemous Act, and a Forest.
And Forest. All right.
And then I will draw for turn. And I'm sure Mike will as well.
I'm gonna draw 2 actually.
That's
How
what
many cards are in your deck, Mike?
I don't know.
enough to
It's
not
many.
lose immediately.
Oh, that's still a big deck. Okay, I figured you had drawn more.
Well, this
but
is my graveyard, and this is my library, so they're not too far off from each other. Right
No,
now.
but you probably still have like 50 cards.
Oh, yeah, easily. I'm not drawing double anymore. Man, can you imagine that Teferi's Ageless Insight with the Consecrated Sphinx?
I know, it'd be
Mwah.
so good.
Mwah.
I need both of those cards in this deck.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna tap 7 and sack, and I'll draw as a Scion to get up to 8 because my first colorless creature spell. No, my first creature spell costs 2 less.
Yeah,
I'm gonna cast a Desolation Twin.
nice.
Heyo.
Is that the one that makes a 10/10 when it comes in?
Indeed,
If you cast it,
I did cast it.
that's right. I used to think that was the only Eldrazi that didn't have the if you cast trigger on it, and I was making 10/10s all over the place. AKA, I cheated. I used to cheat.
We didn't know about it.
Didn't know.
You know what? I think we're gonna give him haste,
Uh-oh.
and we'll leave this 10/10 to block.
Wait, you
He
have power
is-
to kill Mike. Oh my god.
Win.
Oh no.
It's true.
Do it.
I do, but there's a life total above mine at the moment.
I know, I'm sad. Remember when I said something about being the highest life total?
I
take it
will move to combat. I will swing 6 at Coil and 10 at Colin.
back. Yes.
I'm gonna take 6. I'll go to 8.
I'm gonna take 10
Yeah.
down to 25.
Single digits, baby.
And then I'm gonna pass.
All right, untap. I'm gonna tap these 2. 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna mill 7 cards. Bronze Bombshell, Swamp, 3 Visits, Kodama's Reach, Calling Ritual, Infernal Grasp, and Colony. Well, this is the land on the other side.
Yeah.
The
Yep.
Colony Ambush. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. So those are my 7 cards. And then I will draw for turn.
Oh, hey, I'm an idiot.
Oh,
Uh,
Can I play my land that I forgot to play?
yeah.
yes,
go for it.
yes.
Okay,
absolutely.
it's just a Gruul Turf that's gonna bounce to waste.
Sure. I'm
I'm
draw
gonna play
2.
Marsh Flats. I'm gonna crack it and lose a life. I think I'm just gonna grab myself a swamp. I hope there's a swamp left because I didn't run a ton of basics. I might have to get a dual land tapped or something.
I ran
Okay,
into
so
that.
no more forests.
I ran into that issue with
Or
this deck,
swamps.
too.
All right, I'm gonna grab a Blood Crypt. Do I want it tapped? That's my question.
Go down to 20. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. This is fun. What is in my hand? Sure. I'll have it come in untapped. All right. I am going to flashback Faithless Looting.
Nice.
Good idea. Okay.
I'm going to draw 2. I'm going to discard a Soul Gorger Org, which is a 6/6 trample. When it comes into play, that player loses all but 1 life. And then when it leaves play, they gain the life equal to the life they lost. And I'm also going to put a Master of Cruelties in the graveyard.
Nice.
Ooh.
Baby.
I'm going to move to combat. And I will swing. Are those just ooze? Those are slime counters on all of our things. I guess that's what I have on mine. I forgot to put my
slime counter.
slime.
I have a slime counter on this guy.
Actually,
I
Andy,
do have enough to kill you.
with your faithless looting, Andy, I'm actually going to draw 4 cards.
Oh, yes.
Sure.
Yeah, that does that.
Eh.
I want to look at my graveyard real quick. Is there anything that I wish I had?
I wish I had a life.
Nah, it doesn't matter. I am going to move to combat, and I will swing at Mike for 4.
I will respond.
Oh.
For 1 black, since it's reduced by 1, I'm going to cast Sudden Edict, targeting you, Andy. Target player sacrifices a creature.
All right, I'll sack the Beamtown Bullies.
Nice.
I saved half my life.
Also, split second.
Now I have no mana for Colin's turn.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, don't worry. I'm not trying to kill you, Coil.
Oh, thank goodness.
I only have 5 power on the battlefield anyway.
Yes, that 5 power would have been able to kill me if that Beamtown was able to get through.
Indeed.
I'm trying to lose all my life.
You could probably still kill me with a good draw spell, though, Colin. To be fair.
I do feel like with the number of cards Mike has been drawing, he does need to be removed. I wasn't going for him, but he's removed the Beamtown twice with split second, so I was like, it's going to be an issue.
I don't want to take damage.
I can't imagine why.
Taking damage doesn't win you the game. At least not in my decks. There are decks where it would, for sure.
That's true.
Let's see.
I've been thinking about that new Mythic Angel that instead of taking damage, you mill twice.
That's in here for sure.
Oh, I like it.
Well, I don't think there's is there anything that I can even do?
Too small.
I just died a Mike.
Yeah, probably.
No, I mean I do. He has commander damage with just 1 swing. He doesn't have to swing anything else at me.
How much
Great.
commander damage do I have on you?
You already have 10 on me. So if you...
I didn't
It's
realize
11,
I had
12.
that much already.
Yeah.
Just 3 and then 7? That makes sense.
Yep. So I feel like that's why I had to go for you,
Hey,
because you're just coming
That's
at
fair.
me.
Honestly, didn't see it. But I probably would have on my turn, though, to be fair. So that's a good call.
I passed. Yeah, I can't do anything.
Okay, tap 2, untap 5, so I'm going to mill 5.
I got to connive
It's
1.
Cabal Coffers, Asperia, Watery Grave, Cut
4.
of the Prophets.
You need to connive 4.
Oh,
Which I can't do without a hasty creature. So you're actually
Angel
okay.
of Suffering. I just lost it to the graveyard.
Oh, well, maybe you can reanimate it.
Yeah, I did lose Reanimate to the graveyard also earlier. Draw for turn.
I'll draw 2.
Perfect. I have to play a land for turn, don't I? Urza Saga.
You don't have to play a land for turn. There's no rule that says you have to.
No, I do. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bolus's Citadel.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. Look at the top. I'm gonna pay 3 life for a midnight clock.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Oh, I had a draw trigger. I'm gonna deal a damage to Andy Bentley, and I'll gain a life off my draw for turn. Okay. Look at the top card. Ooh. Worm coil. No one has blockers.
I do not, and I'm tapped out too.
Now's your chance, though, for
wait,
real.
not you. No, you, Andrew Bentley. I know you have blockers.
Yes,
I'm
I
just-
have 2
I
blockers.
know. Okay. All right. And this is hexproof, not shroud. I'm gonna pay 4 life for Whispering Madness.
Oh,
1, 2, 3, 4. To put on Queza, Augur of Agonies.
Oh, that's gonna force everyone
Oh
to
no,
discard
I
their entire
I
field.
cast it first.
Yeah, you cast it.
first.
You cast it, and then it gets ciphered up.
And then Cipher. So
Disgusting.
everybody cards in hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
3.
4. Mike.
16.
All right, so we're all gonna discard and draw 16.
All right, I'm discarding Help of the Host, Not Seer, and Wastes.
Mike,
I
what'd
did-
you have? Did you have anything crazy good?
Oh yeah, tons of good stuff.
I put Lab Maniac and Jace's Archivist, which is the wheel I was talking about. Barring 100,000 arrows is cool too. But
Yeah. it is.
anyway, I'm gonna draw 16,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna deal 16 to Andy Bentley, and I'm gonna gain 16 life.
I've
I will
got
go to 16.
Alhamret's Archive, Entreat the Angels, Amiria's Call, Drake Haven, Crashing Drawbridge, Agadeem's
Ooh.
Awakening, Felisa, Fang of Silverquill, Salundi Vision, Angel's Grace, Mana Confluence, Sea Great Restoration, Ink Shield, Black Bloom Rogue, Sage of Hours, Ondu Inversion, and Unburial Rites, which does have flashback.
Nice.
I don't think anything
Okay.
else has flashback. No.
I've already played my land for turn. Of course, I drew Reliquary Tower, which doesn't seem to matter right now.
I'm
but,
gonna choose not to draw with any of the Consecrated Sphinx triggers.
That's fair.
Okay, and I'm going to look at the top card. Ooh, okay. Might as well just have some fun.
This beat is sick.
What is this? 5? I'm gonna pay 5 life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For Cavalier of Gales, I'm gonna
Oh
draw
my god,
3
you gained that
cards.
life with Queza.
1,
I was like, how does he have
2,
left so much life?
3. I'm gonna gain 3 life. 1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna deal 3 damage to Andy Flurry.
I take 3.
Cool, cool, cool. Now I have to put 2 cards from my hand on top of my library in any order.
Oh, that's pretty good with Bolas' Citadel.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
No.
I don't know if I've drawn the proper things or not. Okay. So, oh, and Archmage Emeritus trigger from casting this, I would draw 1. Do you mind?
Yeah,
Oh,
go for it.
Good.
Draw 1, I'm gonna gain 1, I'm gonna deal it to Andy Flurry.
choose
16.
choose not to do the Consecrated Sphinx trigger again.
Okay. So I will put these 2 back on top. I'm going to cast Shark Typhoon for 6 life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Peer into the Abyss for
Oh.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna target.
Oh gosh. Okay, with that on a stack.
Yeah. I have a trigger for a shark token also.
Sure.
That's a
Are you
big
gonna
shark
put
token.
any of that damage on me?
I think it's gonna
Oh, you
go
draw
everywhere.
half your deck, so they're
I'm-
all individual, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna pay a black and a green. Oh shit, I can't. You have those stupid boots on it. Never mind.
I do.
Yep.
Never mind. I can't do it, folks.
Okay, so I'm gonna target myself and I'm gonna lose half of my life, but then I'm gonna gain whatever I draw here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm gonna gain cards.
Just count
equal to
because
the
if you
half.
have If you have what, 32?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, rounded up. So 38 divided by 2 is 19.
Yes. Yes, it
Yep.
is.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I'm going to deal...
You'll just gain 9 life.
Well, yeah, so I'm going to gain 19 and then lose half.
Oh,
Because
you
I
gain
draw
life
first.
Okay.
Yeah, and then lose half. So
go to 20.
go to 20. Yep. Okay. And
You also draw a card from your Emeritus.
draw a card, so gain a life off of that, and I have 20 damage.
Yeah.
So I'll
Should.
deal 16 to Andy Fleury.
To me first, really? Okay.
Yeah, as a host of the stream, I think
that's
it's
fair.
only appropriate.
That's fair. That's fair. Then on my way out, I was just listening to a podcast on Spite Plays the other day and how it's
Oh.
totally fine. We'll
I
do.
deserve whatever it is.
No, you didn't remove Beamtown Bullies twice. I'm an Assassin's Trophy Raffine paying the extra one.
Wow.
That's fine with me. Can't block. I'm gonna choose not to go find a land.
You only have to deal 16 of the 20 to me, so you have 4 more to deal because they're all individual.
Yeah, 4 more is going at, we'll say, Andy Bentley.
All right.
At least
Okay,
one of my
so
removals was
I
a
think
bounce, right? That
1,
one's
2,
was okay.
3, 4, 5, 6,
What'd you say,
7,
Mike?
8.
I said at least one of my removals was a bounce. That one was okay, right?
Oh yeah, no, it was fine. Oh, it was fine. I'm kidding. Also, you get to go get a basic land untapped. And
Yeah,
put it in the
I'm
battlefield.
gonna choose. Does it say I have to? Can I choose not to?
I believe it's a
Uh,
May.
Is it? Let me. I shuffled it in. Hold on. Let me look for it. It says. Oh, it says May. It's controller May, so you don't have to, I guess.
I'm gonna choose not to, just in case.
How many cards are left in? Oh, because Colin, I guess, could continue to wheel. Oh, because he will wheel because
He
Augur of
will. If he
Agonies.
swings, he doesn't have to.
So, yeah, my
It
only
doesn't make
problem
sense
is-
not to.
The only problem is if he wheels, does
I
he just
will-
draw his deck?
Yeah, I will draw my deck and die because... So, discard my hand, then draw cards equal to the greatest. So, basically, I would have needed 20 cards.
And you only have 18 left.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. But the damage that's done, I have to count the damage. So if I could, I don't think I can get damage in on...
You can't get a few cards
So-
out of your hand.
18. These have summoning sickness.
I've never seen that someone can't wheel because they are in fact going to lose.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need one more non-land permanent. Oh, look at that. Okay. Oh, and I can look at the top and cast it. Okay, so yeah, pay 2 life for Ledger Shredder.
That is such a ridiculously good card.
Yeah.
Yes, whenever a player casts their second spell each turn, which I cannot do because I've already cast a number of spells. Look at the top. Oh, can I pay X life?
It'd be X equals 0. Always.
X equals
As long as
0.
the spell doesn't say X can't be 0. Because some spells say that.
And then do you?
Skeletal Scrying says, as an additional cost, exile X cards from your graveyard. You draw X card and lose X life.
If it's as an additional cost, then you still have to pay the additional cost.
But the additional cost is
It's
exiling.
exiling
so I
cards from the
can-
graveyard.
But this says you may play the top card of your library if it was pay life equal to its converted mana cost rather than paying its mana cost.
Yes, but you still would pay any
You
additional
pay-
costs the normal way.
So it's
Okay.
like the two.
And then
Is
I
it,
lose life equal to how much I exile, basically.
Yeah, is it XX? Or is
Yeah.
it...
What's the mana cost?
Yeah, what's the mana cost?
It's black X.
So I think you pay 1 life and then exile the cards from your graveyard.
I've just dropped a couple of cards from my hand. Right? Okay.
Oh,
Not that it matters.
Is that how that works?
if there's an X in the casting cost, then X has to be 0.
For the life thing, right?
Just in the casting cost. I don't think it matters what the card does.
Yeah, so I can't do this. I guess, get it off the top of
You
my
can get it off the
library.
top by paying 1 life.
Okay.
So
I
you
will do
can't
that.
do
I'm
the
gonna-
additional... Oh, because it's
Yes.
rather than. Okay.
So I'm gonna pay 1 life, cast this card, draw a card off of Archmage, and I'm gonna hit Andy Bentley.
I'm going to draw 2 cards this time.
Oh.
Oh
I mean,
shoot.
If I know that Colin's not going to wheel himself, I might as well draw these cards.
Okay, all right.
Surprise, mother. He's going to do
I
it
mean,
now.
I'm gonna die to Bolas Citadel activation. That's what he's talking about already.
Well, so all I
oh,
need-
sacking 10
1,
permanents.
2, 3,
Oh, I
4,
see what you're
5,
talking
6,
about.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. Oh, and I make a shark, a 1/1 shark.
All right, and you hit me for how much?
Just
It was just 1.
1,
Yeah, that was
Okay.
just
and
a
I
Queza trigger.
and I gain 1 life.
Are we going to see a Bolas Citadel sack for the win?
Gotta
I
do
think so.
gotta
I
draw
think-
one more card.
You need to draw 1 more card.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Sorry. And this is each opponent loses 10 life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Wait,
you get
just-
down 1 more.
Oh, but he has creatures.
If he swings, he
1, 2, 3,
draws.
4, 5, 6,
If
7,
he hits
8,
me?
9, 10, 11, 12, 13. But I think it's okay because I have more cards than you have life total. So each draw, this will trigger individually, right?
So the spell will resolve in its completion before any of the triggers will resolve, and you'll end up drawing from an empty deck.
Okay. All right. Good.
This is crazy.
And you have how many blockers, Andy?
2.
2. And I have 2 attackers. So I really do need to... Oh, what is on the top of my deck? Oh, it's a land. Okay. Look at the top card. Stuff. Junk.
Stuff and junk, you know.
Stuff
Can-
and
what do-
junk.
what do I need?
Can you only do Bolas' Citadel at sorcery speed, or can you do it at any time?
As long as it's an instant.
Well, split second shuts that down.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's
Oh,
any
okay.
other blue
All
or
right.
black or white
So-
split-second cards that could do that.
Tap Midnight Clock for 1 blue.
Yeah.
Cast Sensei's Divining Top.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah. That does
This is the infinite combo right here.
Yes, it is.
I can draw my whole deck
Yep.
with this.
Yeah.
So
And you can do it 1 at a time.
And I can do
Yes.
it 1 at a time.
So, yeah, you tap, draw.
So
Wait, how
I
are you making the...
So I
Yeah.
tap.
Oh, because you pay for
draw
it.
a
Yeah.
card, put this
got
on
it.
top. I gain a life, so I'm not
Yep.
even gonna lose the life from casting this off of the top.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cast this. Yeah.
Yep.
Good.
Yep, you got it.
Do you?
All
how,
right.
how many cards do you have left in your library?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
All right. So I'm
And
dying
I-
to combat damage then.
To be
yeah.
fair,
And I
Um,
can.
if you
should I-
didn't kill me, I was probably going to kill you.
Oh, I'm
Oh.
sure. Yeah, I figured. We did it, everybody.
Nice
Nice.
job,
Good job,
Colin.
Jack.
That
If,
was
I
very
think
good.
Sensei's Divining Top is literally the only 1 drop. Oh, I had a Cold Epiphany I could have cast for 1, but yeah. Whew.
That was very good.
Yeah. Awesome.
It's a cool deck. It's
game.
fun. I gotta put the Sphinx and Teferi's Ageless Insight in here.
Shh, seriously.
It's going to be even
Oh.
scarier.
Versus-
Archive. And...
Urza's Saga can find the Divining Top, which is nice. So.
So my
on
turn
the-
would have been even worse because my top card was Ilhard.
Oh,
Ooh.
I love it. With
Ooh.
Rhythm of the Wild, it's one of my favorite things.
See,
Hey, Yoggoth.
I was just gonna drop Mystic Redaction, which has everyone mill 2 cards whenever I discard a card, and then I was just gonna go to my end step and just like, discard half my hand.
That was such a good ending.
Such a
That
good
was-
game. So thank you so much for the both of you for joining us on our stream.
For the both of us.
For the both of us and the both of you. I think I speak for the both of us when I say thank you so much for joining us this week.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Why don't we go around the table and let's plug all of our stuff one more time for all of the viewers out there. So Andy Bentley, please tell us where we can find you.
Hold on, let me put my podcast voice on. Hi, everyone. My name's Andy Bentley. I'm the host of the Commander Sports Podcast. I can't do it. You can find me on Twitter at BentsMister, which is my personal Twitter account, at Commander Forge, which is CMDR_Forge, which is the podcast account, and my meme account, which is at Mono Black Border.
Oh, you're Mono Black Border. I didn't know that. Now I know.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Andy, for joining us. And Colin, please tell everyone where they can find you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Colin O'Clock. I'm at Colin O'Clock on Twitter. Boom. And I'm at twitch.tv/Colin O'Clock. Go find me there for memes and very casual, fun games where, yes, usually this does not happen on my streams. I'm very happy I put this deck together. A friend of mine is putting Queza together in our local group also, so I can't wait to mash them together and borrow tech and all that fun stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, thank you everybody for watching.